All children require the necessary vaccinations before they can step foot into a classroom. How would you feel as a parent when hearing these words and enrolling your child into a public school? Depending on your views, either in total agreement or in total outrage. After extensive research and having read Do Mandatory Vaccinations Hurt or Help Public School Children by Grace Chen, written in 2019, I learned that in an attempt to reduce common illnesses and eliminate potentially fatal or harmful diseases, medical leaders have created mandates that command all kids have to be vaccinated, as said by Chen. She then goes on to elaborate on her claim, which we will refer to more later. As a former public school student, I'm all too familiar with my yearly vaccinations. Although getting a shot is not the top of anyone's to-do list, I knew it was a necessary step that I needed to take in order to assure my safety and the safety of others. And I feel that this may not be seen by all, so I would like to express in disagreement the importance of vaccinating our children. Partaking in the mandatory vaccination of students is important to the safety of your child and other children by ensuring herd immunity and a built defense against a common disease, allowing a safer environment in our community and our school districts. First, I'll cover harms of not vaccinating our children and its effect on our students and our community. Then I will talk about the causes of controversy in vaccinations, and lastly, I'll cover a couple of ways in which we can solve this problem. Now I'll talk about a few ways in which not vaccinating our children can cause harm and its effects in our community, and then I will go over the scary topic of the decrease of herd immunity and the risk that unvaccinated children put on others and those around them. So, to elaborate, herd immunity is seen in a community when enough members or a high percentage of members within this community are immunized to a particular disease, so that way that disease is not able to gain a foothold within that community. So, according to an article written in 2008 called Mandatory School Vaccinations, The Role of Tort Law by Anthony Scioli, Scioli elaborates on the dangers that losing herd immunity holds, that being the widespread infections of new or old diseases, a risk that unvaccinated children pose by being able to spread that disease. So going off of unvaccinated children being able to spread diseases is that they may be able to pick up and carry on a disease that we haven't seen before. So essentially the only reason anti-vaccination parents are able to often override mandatory vaccination rule is due to the fact that so many kids in the population are in fact protected from a disease, due to the fact that so many kids are already immunized with the required shots. So therefore, if most of the vaccinated children are prevented from contracting a specific disease, then most of the unvaccinated children are not at risk to catching that said disease. As a result, an entire society of unvaccinated children can be seriously dangerous to our community. That means that since children are already vaccinated for required illnesses and therefore have strengthened immune systems, unvaccinated children pose a threat by being able to catch new or old diseases or new strains of a disease that we've never seen before, putting everyone around them at risk. So since I have covered the harm that can be done from not vaccinating our children, I would like to cover some of the reasons why parents do not feel the need to vaccinate their children, which some reasons why people feel they don't need to vaccinate their children is often religious or personal, but religious belief and vaccination controversy is one of the biggest reasons why parents choose not to vaccinate their children, and one of the most controversial reasons at that. So trying to be respectful to those in their beliefs, many schools have allowed those with religious or even philosophical beliefs to be exempt from getting their kids vaccinated. To be specific, according to Scioli, all of many organized religious groups, including Catholicism and Judaism, do not prohibit vaccinations. Several smaller religious sects, most notably Christian Scientists and the Amish, oppose vaccinations on religious grounds. Other individuals oppose vaccinations for other reasons, such as they feel that vaccines interfere with nature's genetic blueprint, or just other personal reasons at that. So some reasons why people do not vaccinate their children is due to religious or personal belief. So such exemptions are not entirely surprising, given the good old American freedom or the choice of free will. Some say it is their right to not vaccinate their children if they do not wish to do so, and others claim that these people are just downright lazy. Many individuals increasingly have taken such exemptions not because of genuine belief, but because they are simply too lazy to vaccinate their children. Since such parents do not bear the negative externality costs or harms of losing herd immunity directly, they may not take them into account in making that decision to immunize, as said by Scioli. So now that we've covered a couple of reasons that make this topic so hard to nail down, let's talk about some ways in which we can solve this problem. The government says, and the strength of the law enforcement alone, say that personal belief and change of heart can make a world of difference when it comes to keeping our children safe. But the effects that vaccinating our children has on the government and the government has on us vaccinating our children is tremendous. As said by Scioli, Mandating school vaccinations as a method of perpetuating herd immunity is far less costly than treating victims of a disease. Herd immunity, then, is not the only most efficient method of prevention of human suffering, but also the most cost-effective, which makes it more cost-effective for us as well. The law has an act in place for infecting others known as the Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 23, or Rule 23, which allows members of a class to sue or be sued as a representative party on behalf of all members of that class. Many states have adopted the rules similar to Rules 23. So personal belief within the vaccination controversy has to be one of the most frustrating reasons why people will not vaccinate their children. When it comes to parents and vaccinating their children, many are afraid that vaccines will do more harm than good when that is not the case and is not proven to be so as well. So if we can properly educate new parents and get them to see the good side of vaccinating our children, then we can make an economic change for the better. So that we have covered the basics, it's time to close out and cover the basis of what we talked about today. Partaking in the mandatory vaccination of students is important to the safety of your child and other children by ensuring herd immunity and a built defense against a common disease, allowing a safer environment in our community and our school districts. I covered the harms of not vaccinating our children and its effect on our students and our community. Then I spoke about the causes of controversy in vaccines. And lastly, I covered a couple ways in which we can solve this problem. Please take these words into account and keep our children safe.